The Hole in the Ground, directed by Lee Cronin, who also co-wrote the movie alongside screenwriter Stephen Shields, is a specifically Irish horror film. Now, I'm not one for horror, but when I saw the trailer and found its heavily Irish cast, story, and alongside the prowess of A24's recent surge in both critically and popularly acclaimed horror films, I made the decision to suffer through it, and in the end, I'm kind of glad I went. But I did have some issues with the movie.
Mom?
The Hole in the Ground follows young mother Sarah O'Neill and her son Christopher's adjusting to country life while escaping the very real nightmare situation Sarah had in the past. That is, until Chris runs away and comes back changed, and thus begins a supernatural and surreal turn of events.
That he was an imposter.
The cast in The Hole in the Ground is fantastic, as Shauna Kerslake, who plays Sarah O'Neill, convincingly portrays a paranoid and anxious mother who seems to be on the very brink of her sanity in one scene, and in the next, a clear-headed and determined mother who would do anything for her child. James Quinn Markey as Chris, Sarah's son, who you might recognize from the History Channel show Vikings, was a perfect choice to have the balance between a shy and innocent child to a mischievous, sinister, and voracious monster. His almost angelic qualities, especially his bashful manner and singing, enhance his performance as the monster even more. The best aspect about The Hole in the Ground, however, is the subtleties of Irish mythology and culture within its writing. Lee Cronin and Stephen Shields' writing enables the audience to understand the complexities and the invisible balance between the supernatural world and what we call reality that surrounds Irish culture without making the mistake that filmmakers are warned of making: show, don't tell. Both men understand the concepts and legends they are trying to display without bashing the audience over the head with a shovel full of exposition. There is no old witch or someone trying to explain the reasoning why the old woman in the trailer is telling Sarah that Chris isn't her son, or the fairy stories, or even some of the mysterious real-life murder stories The Hole in the Ground takes inspiration from. It's the visual cues and subtle hints in the writing that shows the audience that there is something supernatural about to happen right from the get-go. However, if you do know the legends and stories and a little bit of the source material they used for The Hole in the Ground, you'll most likely know where the story is going to end up pretty quickly, especially if you watch the trailer like I did. I thought the beginning was slow-moving, and it really didn't grab me at all. For the first 20 minutes, the movie just felt a bit flat, and it was like a combination of Irish daily life with a dash of stereotypical horror movie tropes, like a squeaking and slamming door due to the heavy winds, and a really intense soundtrack. In addition to that, I felt that there wasn't enough time to see a big enough change in Chris's development as a character to convince me to either believe that Sarah could have just been mentally ill and seeing things, or that Chris's change was a reality, as it was too obvious too quickly that it was in fact reality. Overall, A24 and DirecTV's The Hole in the Ground really surprised me with its subtle but complex writing, and its casting of regionally accurate and strong relatively unknown actors. However, I wasn't exactly terrified, since I knew the way the story was going to end up, and I would have liked to see more of a development and change in the way Chris changed to become the thing he becomes. The movie is now available on DirecTV, online, and on demand, and it comes out in theaters March 1st.